paradigm is in control of you. Don't think it's not. It is. It is in control of you. It's a demon inside of you. And it talks to you. And it tells you, don't do that. You crazy. Go ahead, do it. Don't do it. It's in control. And you know something? 97% of the time, the damn thing wins. It does. And I don't care how sophisticated you are. I don't care how smart you are. I don't care how religious you are. I don't care about any of those things. Your paradigm is in control. It's been programmed right into the cells in your being. Stop and think of how you got here. A little particle of energy from mom, a little particle of energy from dad comes swimming along. They were in resonance, and that is the nucleus of you. And then for 280 days, an attractive force went to work. And all of mom's DNA and all dad's DNA, where their DNA come from? Well, their mother and their dad, where did they go from? Their mothers and their dads. God knows how far back this goes. You're the product of other people. You're the confluence of thinking that goes back for God knows how far. That's who you are. That's why you look like you do. That's why you got the hair you've got. That's why you're the height you are, the weight you are. That's why your foot is wide or narrow. This is all programmed into us. Then 280 days later, we make our debut on the planet. And we become programmed by the people we're surrounded by. This is real, and you're not going to get it in school. Because the teachers don't know it. Look at it. This is really a black or white deal. It doesn't matter how hard you work. It doesn't matter how many hours you put in. If the paradigm doesn't change, ultimately results remain the same from one year to the next. That's why people go right through their life living much the same as their parents and their grandparents and their great-grandparents. Nothing changes. Just as prejudiced, bigoted, and ignorant from one generation to the next. You must alter the paradigm if you desire to improve your results. Both companies and individuals operate with paradigms. Countries operate with paradigms. Families have paradigms. To be able to shape your future, though, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm. You got to be willing and you got to be able.
Hey everybody, welcome back to day 2, and I bet you're willing and I bet you're able. I know you're able. The question is, are you willing to do this work? And I think that's where a lot of people meet shipwreck, is the willingness, because it is maybe not something that we're taught in school. So welcome back everybody. Thanks so much for being here. I just want to remind you, tonight we have a Zoom at 7 p.m. NT time. So in 6 hours and 57 minutes, we will be in Zoom. They are not sent out to you. It is a be there or miss out opportunity. So the Zooms are not sent out. Please keep that in mind. So I will see you tonight at 7 o'clock in Zoom. These Zooms are to answer any questions, to help you through this, because what we're going to go through today can be a little bit, can play with your head a little bit. But here's what we want to do first. I want you to get out your goal card. Read it out loud where you are right now, or just read it to yourself if you're somewhere that maybe you can't do that. Read it and just ask yourself, does this signify the person I want to become? Because a true C-type goal demands that you change. Read it out. And then now in the chat, I want you to put, what's your biggest takeaway from yesterday's lesson? What's the biggest thing that you took away from it? And I want to remind you, A and B type goals do not require you to change. C type goals demand that you change. So the next 45 minutes could be the most significant 45 minutes in your life. I know it was for me. When I understood this and when I learnt this, I made sense to me. The things that I was doing, why I felt so frustrated, why I sometimes felt like an outcast, because I had been doing things differently than the expectation. I was already an unconscious competent in a lot of areas of my life, which is what we're going to go through today. The 4 areas of consciousness. I was already an unconscious competent. I could drive a car. So if you can drive a car and you can listen to music and you can have a conversation, or you don't have to say, shut up everybody and turn the music down, all that, you're an unconscious competent. You can do it and you don't have to actually be present. You know, I have driven into town when they put up a new set of traffic lights in town, and I drove into town and then I was driving back, I'm like, oh my God, they've turned them on. Gee, I wonder if they were turned on when I drove into town. I think they were, but I have no memory because I'm an unconscious competent when I drive my car. I don't have to be present. Biggest takeaway yesterday, change the question from what do I have to do to who do I want to become. Beautiful, Lisa. Let your goal be your goal. Don't let your plan be your goal. Your goal is the goal. Yeah, where do you want to end? Like, where do you want to land? When we jump, we don't think about what we're going to do midair. We are looking for where are we going to land. I used to do long jump when I was in primary school, and I used to love that one. So it was always, you looked for where you wanted to land, and then you just did the actions that you needed to do, but you had your eye where you wanted to land. So I have this little thing called an iPad helping me today, which I'm sure you all know about. And we're just going to move some things around. However, let's just play with this for a moment, sorry. All right, we just have to open another one. My apologies. Oh, there it is. Okay. I had all this set up earlier. Anyway, sorry about this. The other one did not come with us. We had a little bit of changing to do. All right. Most of us are visual, and then we're auditory. That's how we learn. So we watch and then we do. So I'm going to explain all of this to you in the most simplest way that I know how. Now, I want you to think that all of these lines that I drew here are levels of frequency. And these 2 little things down the bottom here, they're little glasses of water or beakers of water. Now, I want you to think about this. If we put a If we put a flame under one of these things of water and heat this water up, that water will turn into steam. And if we put it in the freezer, that's like an ice cube, it will turn into an ice cube. But guess what? It's still water. It's still the same thing, just steam vibrates on a different level of frequency. ice vibrates on a different level of frequency, and water vibrates on a different level of frequency. Same thing, same substance, just a different result depending on what frequency it is vibrating at. So let's have a look at what we did yesterday. Now same, I'm just going to draw these lines again. Now we talked about an A-type goal and a B-type goal. And this is you. We go from setting A-type goals, goals we've already done before, to B-type goals, goals we already know how to do, and we live in that range of frequency. That's our ceiling. We normally live in it. A and B type goals do not provoke a change. They do not ask you to change in any way. Then you created a C-type goal. Completely different level of frequency. The only way to get there, to get to that C-type goal, to go there, is through something we call decision. You have to make a decision that that is where you are going to go. We gave you the decision article yesterday. I suggest you read that and maybe read it every single day. Now, if you put in more effort on the frequency of the A and B type goals, all you can get is A and B type results. If you make a decision that I am going to go after this, this is my C-type goal, I am going to have that. I am going to move from this level of frequency up into this level of frequency. You immediately have to change. You make a decision and then you immediately have to change. Does that make sense to everybody? You can't wait, because you can't wait to change, because otherwise you're going to keep doing things down here on this A and B type level. You have to change immediately and start to live on the C-type goal level. This is why I say write it in the past or present tense. Now let's talk about the 4 levels of consciousness. Level 1 is unconscious, incompetent. You don't know what you don't know. You don't even know about this information. You just keep doing the same thing. You just stay going after A and B type goals and you live in that frequency. Nothing changes. Then maybe you come to one of these trainings, and this could be like your 4th or 5th training with me. Who knows? I've had people that stay with me for years. Anyhow, then you become somebody that is conscious of this work, but you're still incompetent. So you know about it, but you don't use it. This is what we call maybe the knowing doing gap. Then you move to level 3. Sorry. I want to make this as clean and as neat as possible so that there's no confusion. And you start using this material and you become a conscious competent in it. Now, let's just play around with the car idea. In the beginning, as you're being driven around by your parents or whoever your guardians were, you're sitting in the back seat or even in the front seat You're oblivious. You don't know how they're driving it. You don't even take any notice. And then maybe about the age of 13, 14, you decide, I'm going to start driving one day soon. Or if you live on a property, it's probably a bit younger. I think I was like 12 or something when I started driving. So you start to watch what mum or dad or your guardian is doing, and you see them doing things with these pedals, and you see them doing things with the steering wheel and things off the steering wheel, and maybe there's a gear change that they do, and you're like, I wonder how all this works. So you ask questions and say, well, what's that pedal for? And what does that lever do? And what's this gear stick do? And what's this thing that you pull up that makes a noise sometimes? This is showing my age, hey? And you become conscious of how the car works, but you still can't drive it. And then maybe you start to have some driving lessons, or you live on a property and mum and dad say, here, sit on my lap, start driving with the steering wheel. And then a little bit later on, you start driving the car and you start to learn how the pedals work. And maybe there's a few bunny hopping sessions or a few stalling moments, or going around the corners too fast or something. There's some of those things going on. But after a little, but you're becoming conscious. So you've got to be there. You can't have music blaring. You can't have a conversation. You can't be putting lipstick on. You can't be looking at yourself in the rearview mirror or anything like that. You are there. You are concentrating on what you're doing. Then, after a bit of repetition, you become an unconscious competent, where you can go from A to B, get to B and go, I don't even remember half of that drive. I wonder who drove. Because you have what they call muscle memory. You have a subconscious conditioning of how you drive the car. Now, if there's roadworks and you have to deviate off your plan, straight away you have to come back to consciousness. You can do it, but you've got to be conscious doing it. Does this make sense to everybody? Now I want you to ask yourself, what level are you at this very moment? And there is no right or wrong answers here. What level are you at when it comes to regards to your C-type goal? Are you an unconscious incompetent? Like, I have no idea how to get there. I don't even know the first step. Am I consciously incompetent? I know exactly what to do, but I'm just not doing it. Am I already doing it, but it's taking a bit of effort? Or am I just think it and I have it? That's your level 4, unconscious competent. When it comes to goal setting and achieving, where are you at? I want you to write your number in the chat. 1, 2, 3, or 4. Yes, nice, Naveen. You have to dream bigger, Sue, I think. I think that's a common thread. We don't dream big enough. We stay between that A and B. And like, we maybe stretch B out just a little bit, but it really does just stay between A and B. Okay. Great honesty, everybody. Consciously competent. Consciously incompetent. Cool, cool, cool. Well done, well done. Now let's go to the next part. Now I want you to know that level 3 is the hardest level. Consciousness takes energy. The common denominator of success, or of successful people, is that they make a habit out of doing the things that create the success. So you have a habit maybe of what you do as soon as you get out of bed in the morning. You have a habit of how you greet people. It's a bloody hard one to change. I've tried, like, hey, how you going? Like, no, I'm supposed to say, hey, what's good today? But being conscious of the level that you're on doesn't give you the ability to change it. And level three is where we probably need the most help, because it can be the most frustrating place to be, and we have to change how we think. So let's look at it this way. These are your levels of frequency. Here's your B-type goal, here's your A-type goal, and you live in that little bandwidth. And guess what's on there? All the thoughts of your A and B-type goals, all the thoughts of what is going on in your life right now, all the things that you think about most of the time that keep you there. Now you've got this C-type goal up here, and your C-type goal, you've made a decision to go there, so you've decided this is where I'm going to go. It has a whole different level of thoughts. So you can't be thinking A and B type thoughts and get to your C type goal. It is not going to happen. So how do we get to that C type frequency? We've got to write our goal in the past or present tense and come from the place where it's already happened. Now, this is the most difficult thing, because we have been conditioned so much to look at the results that are here right now. And we'll go through this in a minute. Your thinking is what leads to your feelings, to your actions, to your results. It all starts with a thought. So this is where we have to define, what will my thoughts be once I've already achieved it? And what will I need to stop thinking? So what has to go so that I can free some space so I can think those thoughts? Because you are already full. There is no room in your mind. And the way to have these new thoughts is you've got to stop thinking some of the old ones. Does that make sense? I was up very early this morning. I made all these notes for you. Right, so let's play around with this. This is your mind, okay? We are going to break it into two parts, and we're going to think that this is our mind, is our head, and our body is much smaller. Okay? That's a really nice leg. This one's running, so this is cool. Now, you have these things called your senses that live on, like, that are hooked up to your conscious mind. You know what they are? See, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Yeah, everybody knows that. So you've got this C-type goal, and you've created a picture of it. Oh, I didn't want to do it that way, sorry. You've created a picture of it because you think in pictures. So you've thought about it and you've got this picture, and then you've got your results. Now, you have been taught to see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Look at that. That is your results. And you've got this picture, but you've also got this thing called a paradigm. Now, your paradigm, it controls your logic, it controls your actions, it controls what you feel, it controls your ability to earn money, it controls your relationships, it controls how fast your business grows, it controls what you focus on. So that controls the vibration of your body. And whatever vibration your body is on starts your actions. So you've got thoughts, your feelings live in your in your subconscious mind. So this is consciousness, subconscious, body. Your feelings decide the vibration, right? Feelings is another word we created to describe the vibration that you're on. So you can say, I'm feeling angry. That says that my thoughts are thoughts of angry thoughts. I'm feeling that angry. I'm on a vibration of anger, and that will be the actions that I take, and that causes my results. Then I look at my results and I go, oh my God, and I don't even take any like I don't even think about this picture anymore. I'm so wound up about the results. I'm thinking those results. And so the paradigm then creates my thinking. It's in harmony and I get these results. Does that make sense? This is the like what people are normally doing. They look at their results, they think from them, they feel from them, they decide what vibration their body is in, they take action, and they're unconsciously incompetent of change. Makes sense, yeah? So now we go to the next level. We've got our results. Now we've got these, we know about these mental faculties. We know that they're there. We see the results. We've got this beautiful picture that we've created. We've got this paradigm. We know it's there. Well, maybe we'll call that C-type goal. We've got this C-type goal. We've got a paradigm. We know that we have these really cool things called imagination, intuition, we have perception, we have memory, we have reason, and we have will. We know it, we don't do anything with it. So the paradigm throws up some thoughts here, and it says, this is what you should be thinking about that situation, and this is what is going to happen. This is what is going on. You stay in the same vibration. You take the same actions. You get the same results. Consciously incompetent of getting your C-type goal. You know that you can because you've seen other people, but you're just not doing it. Now, the only way that we can go to consciously competent is to say, okay, I'm responsible for this. I can't blame my results anymore. I can't blame the outside world anymore. Everything happens at first in my conscious mind. I am not even paying attention to this. I am so focused on what is going on outside of me that I don't even get the chance to use these mental faculties, to play around with these ideas. I'm just going to go backwards so I don't have to draw all that again for you. So then, we've got the same C-type goal. Oh, thank you, eraser. I'm just going to make this a little bit different. Got the same paradigm, nothing's changed. But you look at the results and you think, okay, I've got these mental faculties. Thank you, Mickey. I've got these mental faculties, and they are much stronger than my see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. So I'm just going to stop paying attention. I'm just not going to look at the results anymore. I'm going to really use it to get really clear on my C-type goal. And I'm going to maybe use this thing called a memory, and I'm going to create some pictures in my imagination of me already having it. Now, everybody does this. You already do it. If you've ever been pregnant, when I was pregnant, I imagined myself holding a baby. When I've booked a holiday, no matter what the holiday is, I imagine myself being in the snow or being on the beach or driving around on a little scooter or whatever the holiday is. I imagine myself there. So you know how to do this. You create a memory and you hold that picture. You're just like, okay, I'm going to freeze frame that picture. And that is going to be the meaning of my goal. That's what I'm going after. Then you've got this thing called a will. So you've used your imagination, your will, and your memory. You've created a memory so that each time you get your goal card and you go, I'm reading this thing, you get that picture. And it's there in your consciousness. You've got these memories, you've got this picture, you're using your will. I've shut down my senses. I am not going to look at the outside world anymore. I am not going to look out there and go and see what's happening. I'm going to be really focused on where I'm going, and I'm going to put most of my attention there. Now, you do have to be conscious a bit of what is going on around you, because you might walk into a wall or walk out in the road and get run over and stuff. So, I'm not telling you to, be oblivious to all that. You need to know that it's there, but you don't need to get emotionally involved in it. What you need to get emotionally involved in is what's on your goal card. Now, the only way to get something into your subconscious mind is, there's two ways actually. Emotions and repetition. That's it. They're the only two ways that you can get something from your consciousness into your subconscious mind. Now, we've all done this. We've all imagined the worst. Imagination. We've all imagined the worst. If things don't pick up, we can imagine how bad it's going to get. What if you started just imagining the good, the best, and get emotionally involved in that? But you've got to do it over and over and over again. And each time you do it, it grows. It's going to start with this tiny little thing. So Paradigm is still going to be in control. You're still going to probably do some of the same actions or most of the same actions, because Paradigm controls the vibration of your body. But after a little bit of time, now you've got to nurture this goal. It's not just going to materialize. You've got to okay, no, we're not going to pay attention to that. And you've got to start to ask yourself, who will I become at that goal? What will I not pay attention to? So what is in my outside world there that's part of my results at the moment that will not be there when I'm at my goal? So, Mickey, you won't have empty seats. So you don't focus on the empty seats. You only see a full crowd. If yours is money, you won't see that there's a lack. You will just be grateful for all the money that's there. This is the only way it can happen. And over time, you will get momentum. And then, before you know it, that whole goal is planted in there. That's a C, just so you know. And guess what? You've altered the vibration of your body. You take different actions, and there's a whole new result. This is why this is so difficult. Because this Paradigm, it knows how to push your buttons. And it's going to say, oh, but come on. This is just being a bit unrealistic. Come on, you can't just do that. And we've been trying this for months now and it hasn't worked yet. And who the hell do you think you are? It is going to throw thoughts up. This is where you've got to be stronger than those thoughts and go, no, and you use your will. No, we're not going to play around with you. Or you go to this thing called reason. You're like, well, is that really true? I always go to Thomas Edison. He had 10,000 attempts to create our incandescent light bulb. Imagine if he gave up at 900. or 9,999. We might have had to wait longer. I'm sure somebody still would have made it, but he wouldn't have. So you can't give up. And then you've got to use this other thing called perception. There will be times, because you have such a limited idea of how everything is going to come to you, there will be times when you'll be like, oh my God, I cannot see this happening. Like there's the Chinese proverb story, hey, where all the young men are going off to war, and the day before they turn up at farms and stuff, this one young man broke his leg, and the people around like, oh, that is so bad for you, like how's he going to help with the farm? And the farmer says, I don't know, but something's good going to come out of this. And then the next day they all come and take all the young ones away, and so this young man gets to stay on the farm, and his leg heals in 6 weeks, but he didn't go to war and he stayed to help. But there is no way most of the time that you can join the dots, because we have such a limited idea of how things will manifest and how things will happen for us, that when they come through a different way, we're like, it mustn't going to be happen. It must be wrong. I must be doing something wrong. And we second guess ourselves. And that's where you're not allowed to. Or you can do it for a moment, but don't let it become more than a moment, because otherwise you ruin your momentum. Because once you get momentum of this, things happen fast. So you change your perception about these thoughts, and you reason with them that a paradigm throws up. And then you got to spend a bit of time with your intuition, some quiet time. Okay, now if I was there already, what would I be thinking? What would I be feeling? Who would I be? And whenever you have an idea, you take action on it within 24 hours. There is no time for procrastination. It doesn't have to be pretty. It does not have to be perfect. It just needs to be action. Because when you take action different, you get a different set of results. And then you just look at those results and you go, okay, am I getting closer? Did that take me closer to my goal or further away? Did it feel good when I did those actions? If it felt good, most of the time it's going to lead to good. Then, when you become an unconscious competent, and this is where I would love everybody to get to, and you learn these methods, it becomes really fast. So you have a new idea, you create a picture, you fall in love with that picture, you place it in your heart, which is what your subconscious mind is. It's the feeling part of you. You just decide, okay, right, yep, you get really good at making decisions. As soon as you make a decision, you act on them within 24 hours. And so the universe starts to just know that, okay, this is Polly, and she makes a decision, she takes actions, and things just happen. Okay, let's just help her. But you know what you do? You set up an attractive force. You set up a magnet, because your feelings are your magnet. Your feelings are the level of vibration. So if you think about this, and you've got like your goal, you create a goal because you want it, because you want to experience it, which is going to have to be something that you love. And then your vibration is love, or it's of a good feeling. Guess what? You're only going to get good thoughts up there, and they're only going to be helpful thoughts, and your actions are going to lead to the result pretty quickly. And the more that you do this, you become an unconscious competent, just like driving the car. Because you don't sit at home and go, wonder how I'm going to drive that car today. I wonder how I'm going to get to the shop. I wonder, like, will I change gears the right way? Will I remember to put the indicator on at the right time? Will I do the right things? You don't do that. You're just like, oh, grab the keys, let's go. And out the door you go. because you're an unconscious competent. But this can't happen without repetition. Until you become an unconscious competent at setting goals and achieving them, you've got to do it with step 3, repetition. Now, I want to talk to you a little bit about emotional impact, because I know that there's a few of you here Oh, that's cool, Mickey. I look forward to that tonight too. There's a few of you here that have suffered an emotional impact at one point in your life. And it doesn't matter how successful you are, when we have been so trained to look at results and we look at them and then we maybe become the victim of them, because, you know, I told you I was very good at being a victim. So I look at them like, I must have done something wrong. What have I done so wrong? And da-da-da-da-da-da. Then we take that impact and we let it like diminish our confidence and our belief in ourselves. That is the other way that you can really create a fast new paradigm, but it's normally negative. Do not let other people and circumstances hijack your emotions. When we take responsibility, not blame, responsibility. I'm responsible. I'm going to take responsibility for this, because then we can change and we are able to see the future that we want. When we're stuck in blame and victimhood, all we can see is the same circumstances. So get the hell out of there. Conscious competence. Now, do I need this much? Yes, I do. Conscious competence takes a whole lot of effort. Like, you think about yourself when you learnt to drive a car. Another example is Shay, one of my team. She wanted to be a marathon runner. She had done a lot of running when she was younger. Then she's had children, and then she said, I just want to do something for me. And I'm like, you know, we want to experience things again. And she said, I want to be a marathon runner. So I want you to think about this, and let's play this through with this in mind. Let's just start again. Is the picture Shay had to get in her mind. And Sue is the same. All of you are the same. You had to get a picture there first. Now, it could be the runner, it could be the egg farmer that has led to who knows what else that business is going to turn into for Sue. But you've got to get the picture. And then you've got to ask yourself, so if you think about it, like Shay had to go, okay, rightio, if I'm the marathon runner, I'm going to have new shoes. So when in this picture, in this snapshot there, you see yourself with all these things. Like, you see yourself running good shoes, you see yourself keeping hydrated, you see yourself as strong and lean and whatever it is that you have to see yourself with. And then you start thinking about, okay, now what are my action steps? I'd have to set alarms, I'd have to get out of bed earlier, I'd have to make a commitment to myself, make a decision, da-da-da-da-da. Now remember that you've got this paradigm here, and she's trying to implant this in here with all of these forward-thinking memories of herself running through the finish line. Now this is going to say, you got a husband that's hardly home during the week. What happens if the kids wake up? What happens if one of them is sick? What are you going to do if it's raining? It's just throwing things at you, and it will just keep trying to bring you down. You've just got to go, I'll figure it out. Doesn't matter. Fuck the how. I'm going to do it. What can I do now is my little motto. So hashtag FTH. What can I do now to make this my reality? Remember, whatever vibration you are on is the level that you take actions on and the level that your results will be on. So this is your homework for tonight. And this is for you to see where you're at. I'm going to give you mine, where I was when I found out about this. Now, this is the most simplest homework that you're going to get. You've got see, hear, smell, taste, and touch. Okay. I had, we'll call it the wine time paradigm. How cool is that for a little rhyme, hey? Wine time paradigm. Now, what did Polly do? My results. So if we looked at my results, they were 5 p.m, wine. If anybody got in the way, look out. Like, you know, the day I opened the door and, okay, settle down, lady, go back out. I was on the couch asleep by 8 p.m. 2 o'clock, 2 a.m, sorry, I'd be moving into bed because I'd wake up on the couch once I'd sort of come to a bit. I'd be a bit hungover every day. I was functioning, quite highly functioning. I ran a business. Nobody really even knew what was going on. I would not be happy. So I was sad with myself, and I took it out on Craig and the kids. I was irrational. I was angry. They were my results. And then I would see my results or hear my results and hear what I was saying. They would reinforce my paradigm, so I would think about it and be in my consciousness. I'd take the same action. I'd be on the same vibration, get the same results. That was me. I want you to draw you at the moment so you can see what your paradigm is. What are the results that you're getting? Just list the results and then understand what your paradigm is and how you're letting the senses, your senses, influence what you think about. When I did this and I looked at it, I'm like, right, okay. Then tomorrow, what we're going to do is tomorrow we're going to play around with what happens when you decide to change that. Because there's something that happens when you decide to change these things. But I want to talk to you now. I'm just going to, maybe I'll just shut that off for a second. I want to talk to you now about something called an RAS factor. So you've got this reticular activating system, which is in your brain that whatever you focus on, your brain goes to look for more of evidence to support that. So when like I said yesterday, when I ordered the Orion in the silver, within a week, I'd probably seen about a dozen of them. And I thought, ooh, I don't want that one. I want something different. I always want to have, I like standing out, right? I just want something different. So I rang up and changed the colour. But your mind and your brain is going to filter out all the things that you are not thinking about and only bring you evidence of what you're thinking about. And this is why thinking is so, so important. And this is why having a goal card and reading your goal card and thinking about it and having a picture of it so that it is the most dominant thought. When your goal is your most dominant thought, guess what? Your brain stops filtering in the other things and starts filtering in more of that for you. So you've got to close down the negative ideas. Close down the thoughts of what you don't want. And then we have to learn the concept of coming from. Not to, coming from. To is like when you're going to something, you're actually coming from a place of I don't have. And because your subconscious mind does not know the difference between what's real and imagined, it sends signals out there, and your RAS factor is going, okay, let's look for evidence that we don't have it. And then, of course, that's all you're going to see. So I want you to think about the words be, do, and have. You have to be the person now that has the goal. So identify the feelings of that person, of who you will be when you have your goal. What will those feelings be? We are giving you an emotional checklist or emotional guidance scale. Doesn't look like this, but decide what feeling your goal has attached to it. Remember, feeling is the word that we use to describe the vibration that you're on. So that's the vibration of your goal. So it could be enthusiasm, eagerness, happiness. It could be love. It could be freedom, empowerment. It could be passion. It could be hopefulness. Just identify the feeling. Like I had one of my newest clients just reach out and say, Polly, should I set a big goal or a little goal? How do I go first up? And I said, well, just play around with it. Play around and set a goal of $1,000. And just like, because some people are like, they're at that place where I've sort of lost a bit of hope in myself and lost a bit of belief in myself. So if you just set a small goal, and I set a goal of $1,000 a couple of years, challenges ago, and this is where we've got to let go of the idea that we know exactly how it's going to come in, because we don't. So you've got to be open to it coming in anyway, and to be able to look at things differently. And within that week, I've got a tap in the kitchen, and when I did the kitchen up a few years ago, I just wanted like a black sink and black tap and stuff, and it had a chip off this tap, and I thought, no, I just don't like it when things aren't looking good. So I rang the plumber and I said, can you tell me like how much, can I just get the spout of this or whatever? And they said, oh, how long have you had it for? And I said, oh, like it's like 5 years now. Anyway, it was out of warranty, but the manufacturer said, no, we'll give them a new one. Now this tap was $950, and they came and installed it. I don't know how much installation would have been, but he was here twice and he would have been over an hour all up. I got my $1,000, but it wasn't $1,000 that just came into the bank or somebody handed me $1,000. It came through ways that sometimes we don't even notice because we're too busy looking for it in like one way. It's where we've got to be more open and allow things in. So be the person. Do the things that that person would do. So if that means stopping conversations now that you wouldn't be having then, you've got to do that now. If that means stopping bitching and moaning about things, stop it, because you probably wouldn't do it there. And then you've got to get from this feeling of wanting it to already having it. So I think all of you have got a pen in front of you. Just pick up that pen and hold it and think like, or maybe you got your keys in front of you or something. Do you sit there and think, oh my God, I really need to get this pen. I really, really, really want it to change my life and stuff. You don't think any of that. You're just like, oh, I've got this pen. You don't spend any time worrying about how you're going to get it. You're, wherever you are, doing what you're doing, knowing you have this pen at home or you've got it right in front of you. Same as your car, if you have a car sitting in the driveway or some sort of transport, maybe a pair of shoes out there, whatever. You are not spending any time worrying about how you're going to get it because you've already got it. So that's the leap that you have to make. That's the level from this level of vibration to that level of vibration. So you can borrow that feeling of having. That's what I call it. I borrow the feeling. Okay, what have I got that's nearly that big, or just something I can go, all right, okay, I've already got that. I'm not thinking about that. I'm not, I'm going to borrow that feeling. It's like a feeling of absolute faith. You all are in a place where the sun comes up. If you're on Earth, you would be. Do we ever lay in bed at night thinking, oh my God, gee, I hope that sun comes up tomorrow? Oh, I really want that sun to come up tomorrow. We don't, and I'm not making fun of any of you. It's just that we worry about things and we hold it away. If we can quit the worrying, it can come faster. Quit the wanting. Yes, you have to start with a want, then you have to start being that person, doing what that person does, and have it before you have it, and then you will have it. So have a think about your goal. What are your thoughts about it? Is there, I've written here, lack, want and worry, or is it having and ease? You've got to get to the having and the ease, and caring but not too much. Now, like I said yesterday, for 9.5 years, I've had a coach, because I can really easily sell myself on my own bullshit. And like I said, I'm really, really good at it. And don't you believe, and can't you see how having a group of people or a community helping you do all of this, that you'd go a lot further, a lot faster? And what if you thought about yourself and life differently? And what if you had somebody to prompt you? Don't think about it like that. How about you think about it like this? This might help better. So you got to draw your stick person with your current ceiling, with your current actions, your current results, and go like really get into it. That's all you have to do today. Just draw it out with your current results and have a look at and see what you've got to contend with. And that's what you're up against. And then tomorrow I'll show you exactly what happens when you decide to change it, and why most people just don't even go after it anymore. What happens? Why? Why do we give up on it? I'm going to show you all that tomorrow. Now, I do have 5 prize winners. Now, remember that to get your prize, you have to go to the portal. Now, some of you are emailing a different address that's in the portal. Please go to the portal email address and use that one. I'm pretty sure, let me see. Let me see what color it is so I can show it, so I can tell you. Challenge homework. It has got an email address at the bottom of it. Please use that email address. Thank you so much. Okay, the winners are Fiona McKenzie, Katrina Tahau, I think. If I said it wrong, I am so sorry. Brenda Todd, Trudy Muller, and Mickey Wilson. So you guys go and send me your address. I won't chase you for it. I'm not going to call your name again for this one. Oh, good job, Mickey. Good job. Just like think about that. You don't worry about it. It's just like, I've got it. I've got all this meat. And be grateful. Like, think about how much gratitude you've got for that. That's what you got to do. Have gratitude for your goal, and also be just come from that place of no doubt, no worry, absolute faith. That's what's going to get you there. Oh, you're very welcome. You're very welcome. All right. Enjoy your day. I will see you in 6 hours. That's the wrong time. What have we got? Yes, 6 hours and 1 minute in Zoom. Have a great day. I hope you've enjoyed this. Go back and watch it if you need to. Thanks so much for being here. Bye-bye. See ya.